Even the Coronation Street writers hated this storyline. We're back for some more Coronation Street. This time there's an article where a current writer of Coronation Street argues that she hated a certain storyline. So let's get through it, then we can kind of tackle it. Obviously, I'm thinking back to when I did even Gail Platt didn't like Gail Platt's ex's storyline. But yeah, it's just a very fun one. Coronation Street writer reveals contentious character return she was so angry about at first. It was ridiculous and outrageous. Becky Swing's recent return from the dead in Coronation Street has left more than a few viewers unhappy, especially as she continues to drive a wedge between fan favourite couple Lisa Swain and Carla Connor. But it wasn't just die-hard Swaller fans who were annoyed by the contentious couple's arrival on the cobble. Appearing on the Stateside podcast, co-writer Jen McBerry revealed she was so angry about Becky's return when it was first pitched, describing it as a grenade. She explained how the decision was made, recalling a lot of arguments, as it was really contentious around the writers' table. I can't even remember how long ago it was. It was just kind of tossed in there like a hand grenade. I can't even remember who it was. Might have even been said as a really jokey thing. The writers shared that the idea was initially kind of laughed off because they had worked hard to establish how genuine it was, and shared she was really against the idea and so angry about it. I was saying we can't do that. We'll totally break the faith the viewers have, and totally undermines all of you suffered alongside Lisa and believed her grief. And also I thought it made the police look very corrupt or stupid. She added, I was worried. There were a lot of story points that I felt were like holes in a story. We couldn't possibly do it. It felt ridiculous and outrageous. And ultimately, Becky's rise from the dead did take place, shocking both her family and the viewers who were distraught at the idea of losing their favourite on-screen couple, Lisa and Carla. McVeary revealed she had a very heavy part in the return storyline alongside fellow writer Ella Greenhill, as they tried to make the uncomfortable story work. We thought we kind of hate the story, but if we're going to do it, how do we make it the best version of the story and solve some of these issues? So in the end, Ella and I became the people to write Becky's return from the grave. I think because we've been so vociferous in conference, but then come back with pictures and we thought could make it work, we were going to do it. She concluded, I know people hated it and people have loved it, but at least it's got people talking. People have been talking, not all good. Not all good. So, yeah, that one's kind of a funny one to think. And it's kind of, it does, because the Coronation Street writers are just kind of talked about as if they're just these weird, like, not freaks, but it's like, haven't the writers team just forgotten about this? It's like, guys, you know that they don't really have a choice. Like, you do know that it's rude to suggest that they are just some random people. They are humans too, essentially, is my point. They are humans too. They are important. They're an important piece of the puzzle. They are directing and writing the show as to what we get. So yes, it's very easy to call out the writers and say, oh, you know, fuck the writers, they're all shit. But like fundamentally, the writers have written some of our favorite episodes of all time. And I know they're all different, but you still have the writers with reputations, writers who have so much established history. And to just pawn them off all as a group as opposed to individuals is pretty rough. And I say that. I'm not saying like witch hunt the individuals. That's also not what I'm saying. But I'm also just saying that I feel like you need to be more reasonable about this. But then you can kind of get it, right? Where it's a lot easier to just say, yeah, these writers are causing all the problems about Coronation Street. And it's easy to just point out a big thing you view as a problem. But like, that may not even be a problem to you, to some people. Like, some people think that Coronation Street's bad because it's woke, which isn't true. It is indeed woke. It is very progressive with some values. But also, it's not like, that's not the reason why it's bad. The reason why it has been bad is because they've had to deal with a lot of exits and the direction has not been great. We've still kind of been in the hangover from Ian McLeod kind of shitting up the show for ages. Even that's just what I believe probably went wrong. And that's me blaming Ian McLeod. So that, you know, we all have different outlets as to what we blame for the downfall of it. Obviously, not all that to say, it is still getting better. I suppose the actual piece about Becky Swain, I like her as a villain. I think she worked well. I think it's an interesting way to have like, you know, Carla and Lisa be tested, because it's always something they want to do. They always want to test these big couples, and honestly, with the like popular like gay ship couples or lesbian couples, you always want to show a bit of strife because it makes the connection feel so much greater. I personally, you know, I got the autism and I'm not very romantic, so I'm just like, can we just have a simple relationship, please? Can we just have a simple relationship, please? But alternatively, you also like you know the idea if you don't know how important you think something is until it can be taken away, and so you potentially toy with taking things away, and then go ahead, and then obviously then you go ahead and you put them back together, and because they've been through something dramatic and important, that does actually kind of level up and you start to care about them more. You have to test these couples because ultimately you don't just want a couple to be forever happy, because at some point you just get bored. At some point you just want something else. So it's just one of those weird things. Like, as much as I'd love to say that you don't need to do this, you do need to do this for couples, because couples can get stale, and that's a real true thing, because we're seeing these characters on our screens, like 150, 200 episodes a year. Maybe at some point we just get bored of the same. And that's it, right? That's kind of it. So I think by adding Becky, who kind of is just hated because she's rude, she's coming for some of like the viewers' favorite characters, and alternatively, she's also just really catty towards Carla, who Carla is essentially a fucking queen, and, you know, anybody who swings for Carla, you best not fucking miss. So I think it's as much as I would probably rather it not have happened, because it was still very odd to bring back someone from the dead that we've never seen. You don't bring back characters from the dead every day. You don't. So now you're bringing back someone from the dead who the viewer has no investment in. It just feels a bit counterintuitive. And like, you know, how long is she gonna last? Is it gonna be a long-term story? Is she gonna have this initial villain stint and then become a regular running character? We don't know. We don't know. But you can understand why a lot of the audience is like, why the fuck would you waste this spot on someone like this? Why would you do it? You know, why would you do it? It just kind of denigrates history. But it's kind of, we are in the Swala era, essentially. Kate Brooks has invested a lot of time in this popular couple, and I can't imagine Swala will be off our screens anytime soon. Yeah, so yeah, that's the video though. Tell me what you think about it. Did you hate it just like the writers did, or not? Yeah, all that and more in the comment section. Please tell me. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.